Thank you, Mrs. Christofilea. I'm going to time my speech to make sure I don't take too long. To begin with, your questions are very important. I think they contribute a lot to today's discussion.
Thank you, and thank you for all you have done through the course of the negotiations, and I'm sure what you are going to offer us through the program. Also, I would like to thank you for certain things that you mentioned about productivity in Greece. Don't forget, Greece has undergone 10 years of crisis, so it's very important what you've stated about the productivity of Greece, and productivity could be the title of sure, a great discussion. So thank you very much, you're very welcome. And here you have a country, a state, a government that works in one frequency. This is the frequency of our Prime Minister to make this country a very friendly environment for investment, and also agribusiness is at the center of this effort. So thank you very much. Mr. Cottogni, also, it's a pleasure to be a co-panelist with you and Mrs. Voumvaki. And I leave last my very friend, the Minister, Spilios Livanos, that when I heard and when I was invited in this excellent discussion, and I found out that Mr. Livanos would be here, I was very happy, because we have supplementary actions, and he's a person that works hard and has achieved a lot in his ministry, and I would like to congratulate him, because truly he's a man of action, he's a doer. So Spilios, it's a great pleasure to be with you today. Κύριε Balakakis, συγχαρητήρια για την πρωτοβουλία.
Mr. Balakakis, congratulations on your initiative. It's very important because, as you know, the agri-food sector, the agri-food systems are lagging behind in our country, and it's high time we started doing more about this pillar that has to do with the rural areas of our country, that has to do with the young people, touching upon the demographics of our country. So we need to take all of that into account, because there are funds that can go in that direction. So thank you very much, all of you participants. Thank you for being here. Today's discussion has to do with a crucial topic, and I think that we take into account all the schemes and the programs coming up. Our effort from the beginning has been to change the production model, introducing, apart from tourism, which of course we respect and we will continue to strengthen, but we want to integrate the processing sector, the agri-food sector, the alternative forms of tourism as well, and other significant systems that our country was not utilizing for a number of years. Let us not forget where we come from, where Greece comes from, what the use of our rural areas was, what people were doing in agriculture areas when Greece was set up as a country, was first established as a country. And this year we celebrate 200 from the Greek War of Independence. Within these 200 years, if we see how many people have worked in the agri-food systems, you will realize that it's going to be the majority of the Greek people, the majority of the Greek population. Therefore, we need to pay a lot of attention to that. Greece moves on with significant reforms that bring about results. So at the end of the pandemic, when we go back to normality, we can't say that this is the case now, but we gradually enter some aspects of normality. And what we experienced in the last few years, in the last couple of years with COVID-19, is something that has shaped our perceptions. We see that Europe is doing fine in development, and Greece has been doing a lot of things right the past couple of years. So amidst the pandemic, our country, Greece, managed to bring about some reforms. And if we measure precisely the extent of development, you will realize that this relies a lot upon private investment and exports. This is very important because that changes consumption. We might not have that much consumption, but we have significant exports, significant investments from abroad. So you understand that all the efforts have been very fruitful. Apart from the fact that Greece is doing great in terms of development in Europe, we are number 3 in terms of absorbing the resources. We will continue with the recovery facilities, and for the NSRF, the National Strategic Reference Framework, you can see that we have a very good ranking in Europe, so we are ahead of developments. At this point, we have a new reality lying ahead of us. We have more young people, more young farmers that are willing to use new systems of technology and innovation. So the state wants to support these people, support the agri-food systems in the digital and green transition. So we shall speak precisely about some programs we have. I'm only going to cite them. Some programs we have from the Ministry of Development. And focusing on the Common Agricultural Policy, we have 19.3 billion. And there will be direct subsidies. Farmers will be strengthened, and there will be environmental protection of biodiversity. From the new Common Agricultural Policy, the strategic objective has to do with green development. 440 million on an annual basis will be spent on ecological programs in order to deal with the impact of the climate change. I think we spoke a lot about the climate change. We don't call it climate change anymore because we call it climate crisis. Things are moving too fast. And then adding to that, we have some funds from the EU Recovery Fund. Greece 2.0 as a plan includes targeted programs, targeted schemes for the primary sector. I only have 2 minutes left. So some important issues I'd like to cover. We have a big irrigation program to strengthen agricultural production. We've been working on that with Mr. Livanos, the minister, regarding the construction and the modernization of irrigation networks, of dams as well. And we want to improve the irrigated areas. You said 3.5% of production is what we get with only 3% of the soil. So I think that we want to improve production and yielding through the water resources. 750 million is the total budget we have, and we want through that to increase competitiveness of the agri-food sector. So as you can see, the Ministry of Development, in collaboration with co-competent ministries, we try to support this branch. At the same time, there are programs for the enhancement of the agri-food sector with investment in green agriculture through the creation of clusters, and we try to be as extrovert as possible. These are programs that the Ministry of Development has put in place with the National Strategic Reference Framework 2023-2027. I don't want to take up more of your time, so I shall speak about 3 laws, 3 development laws that will come to the Parliament in the near future, stressing the importance of the agri-food sector. The first law is the new development law with specific regimes for the agri-food sector. We believe a lot that this area is very dynamic, therefore we have specific characteristics in this new law, that it's a thematic law, meaning that we can target precisely the areas we want to have lobbying. Agri-food, the agri-food sector is something that is in our mind, so this can be an autonomous sector that we can deal with. There will be consultations about that shortly. Then the just development transition, again currently within the next few hours in consultation, definitely today up to tomorrow. Then we also have the transition of specific areas up to 2023. The lignite production units will be shut down with one exception, Ptolemaida. There's a particularity there, it's not operating currently, but not yet anyway, and this one will close down in 2028. And in 2025 it will turn into a gas power unit. So 2 plants in Western Macedonia, 2 in Megalopolis. Many of them, half of them will close down next year, and then in the years to come, more will follow. And Greece will be the first country that will be able to showcase this speed in the delignitization of our plants. And Mrs. Ferreira, the other commissioner, I want to explain that Greece will act as a role model for other countries as well. So we'll try to act ahead of our times. And then we have the law on strategic investment, trying to accelerate and simplify procedures. As I said, we are trying to fight the red tape. There are agri-food systems in agriculture areas. We have the just transition areas, and there we will also have many investments in the agri-food sector and provide many incentives so that they can be included in these schemes. 12 minutes, 34 seconds. Thank you very much. This was a very important discussion of particular interest. I believe that we should have more conferences of the kind, because they touch upon the heart of the Greek economy and of the Greek rural areas. Thank you.